What's up everyone, back for another beer review, and today I'll be reviewing a beer from Triptych Brewing, and they are out of Savoy, Illinois, and this is their A Wizard is Never Late. So they're calling this one a double IPA that is featuring Citra and Apollo hops. It comes in at 8.4% alcohol by volume. No IBUs listed. Time of review, and this can is just over 5 weeks old. I want to give a huge thanks and shout out to a friend of mine and a viewer of the channel, Clayton, for hooking me up with this one. So big thanks to him for this beer. In the description box, I'll post a link to the beer mail unboxing video I did that contains all the goodies Clayton sent my way. And he sent me 2 beers from Triptych. This and their dank meme, which is an American Pale Ale. And yeah, I'm really interested in checking this brewery out. I know a good friend of mine, fellow beer tuber Kyle over at No Hype Beer Reviews, he has reviewed a handful of their beers in the past. And yeah, I'm really excited. So this one was a bit older than the dank meme, which again, that's Pale Ale. I'd probably like to try that one first, but this is a bit older, just over 5 weeks old, still relatively fresh, but a little bit older than that one, so I wanted to review this one first. So Apollo hops, I haven't had a lot of beers with Apollo hops in it, so Citra and Apollo is a kind of a weird, to me, kind of a weird mixture, but I'm here for it. Jesus. I thought the tab one was just broke off on me. Okay, Triptych, you now let me in your beer. What are we doing here? Anyway, let's give it a pour. Oh, it's looking real light and milky. All right, so we'll do something like that. Get our nose in there. I really like the label too. Very simple. And anyway, let's look at that. That's a beautiful beer. So really milky yellow color, very turbid and murky. Not a turbidity, baby. Nothing really coming out a little bit. Has just over a finger of a bright white, super creamy looking head. Yeah, looks like an 8.4% double IPA. Let's get a nose. Ooh, okay, I see you. I'm getting a lot of like pink grapefruit. Yeah, pink grapefruit, orange, tangelo, tangerine and grapefruit hybrid. A lot of citrus fruit. Maybe like a kiwi or something, or a pear, like a, I was going to say orchard fruits, but not really apple, more of like a pear. There's this really nice, almost grassy kind of earthiness that's kind of different. Maybe that's the Apollo. Yeah, it almost has like a grassy tomato stalk, just kind of like grassy tomato stalk, earthy kind of feeling. The earthiness is weird. But not in a bad way. It's just, it's something I really haven't had in a beer, honestly. I've had a lot of hop-forward beers. It smells different in a good way, though. Yeah, so very citrus heavy, a little bit of that kiwi and pear. And then there's this grassy, earthy kind of just weirdness. But again, it's not a bad thing. I don't know. It smells real different. Let's get into it. Cheers, everybody. Thanks again, Clayton. That is different, but man, is that tasty. Wow. I will say this, the nose, while, again, I said weird like, what, half a dozen times already, unique, we'll say. It was nice, and I enjoyed it. The taste is better, but it's still unique and weird. Body this one, 8.4%. This is higher side of medium, lower side of full. There's a big heft to the body, which is really nice. The mouthfeel itself, soft, smooth, creamy. There's carbonation, let you know it's a beer, but it has a nice, soft, smooth creaminess that you kind of expect from what this basically is a New England style double IPA. The taste, the hops kind of saturate my palate. It's pink, grapefruit, sweeter orange, tangelo, even like a little bit of like a lime, kind of like a zesty lime. That hits right at the front though. As it passes through, I'm getting that kiwi, I'm getting that pear. It's sweeter versions of those fruits. And I love kiwi, and I don't get enough in hop-forward beers. There's only certain beers that I've had where I'm like, oh, that's distinctive to me in terms of being kiwi flavor. And this one, I think I'm getting kiwi. I feel like, yeah, it's there, kiwi and pear. Continues to go through the palate. On the back, there's a really nice finish, and it's this earthy, kind of grassy, soil-esque kind of finish. it just feels like there's a freshness on the back of the palate. Like it just feels so fresh, but not in the sense of a fruit. It's kind of like a lot of people will say like fresh cut grass. It just, honestly, the back of the palate has an earthiness that reminds me of spring, which we are, at the time of this review, almost there. By the time you see this, definitely in spring. But what's cool is I'm also getting remnants of that kiwi and pear mixing in with the earthiness. This is a fucking cool beer. That's what this is. This beer right here, the first from a Triptych, totally a cool fucking beer. This is a beer that I'm drinking right now, and this is hard for me to say, but there aren't many beers out there that I have reviewed over the past couple of years that kind of stand out from the pack in terms of like their uniqueness or being different from other beers within the style. And this is a New England style double IPA that kind of sticks out from the pack for me. Very reminiscent of the t-shirt I have on, which is Hop Butcher. Hop Butcher. Their name is appropriate because that's what they do. They mess with hops in such a different way. And I've had so many beers from Hop Butcher that kind of stand out from the pack. And they're one of the few breweries that really do that for me. This first beer from Triptych, this is definitely sticking out. 8.4%, hidden extremely well. I'm not even getting a warming in the chest. Like, I'm not even getting a warming in the chest, which is insane. I'm going to pour the rest in here, and we're going to go for a score. This has a mild to moderate bitterness. There's a little bit of, I would say this is more dry than bitter. I would say it's a mild to moderate bitterness with like a firm semi-dry finish. But all that sweet, juicy fruit at the front of the palate kind of gets stopped in its tracks by the semi-dry finish, mild, moderate bitterness, and that earthiness that is just really fucking cool. That freshness, that spring-like earthiness. This beer is so unique and fun that I think I'm going to give it a higher rating just for that. Because I'm really enjoying it. Like, I'm going to drink the rest of this in like 5 to 10 minutes off camera. That's what's going to happen. This is tasty. A Wizard is Never Late from Triptych. Tell you what, how my process works for scoring beers. And again, I always say scores don't matter, but I know a lot of you don't put stock into my score, but you wait to the end to see what I rate the beer. A lot of times I start formulating that rating when I smell the beer. That's the first thing that gives me an indication, okay, where should this beer land? When I smelled this beer, it's right around 4 out of 5. It smelled unique, it smelled different, but it was about a 4 out of 5. It wasn't mind-blowing or anything. That first sip, right into the low 4 to like straight on 4.25 range. After drinking whatever, like 6 ounces of this is getting a substantially higher score than I originally thought when I first smelled it. And that rarely happens, but it's happening here. So A Wizard is Never Late from Triptych. I'm going to give that a straight 4.5 out of 5. Yeah, no, I didn't think I was going to give it 4.5. I really didn't. This is getting a 4.5 out of 5. Why? Because not only is it unique, not only does it stand out from the pack, not only is it delicious, but it's something that is fun to drink. And a lot of times you can have a fun beer, but the experience of, let me take that back. You can have a fun beer and the experience is fun, but maybe the beer isn't delicious. In this case, the beer is not only fun, and I'm having a great experience reviewing it, it's also fucking delicious. So I would say that it has to be the Apollo hops here. Because again, I haven't had Apollo in a lot of beers. Certainly not, they say featuring Citra and Apollo, so 2 hops. The Apollo is doing something here. I think that earthy finish is doing something for me, and I just like the complexity of the citrus, that kiwi pear thing I don't get typically in hop forward beers. It's a great beer. Not much more to say about it. So price point and availability, Clayton, if you want to chime in here, let me know. I would hope that this is like the $20 4-pack. One thing I've known about Illinois beers, and typically beers in and around Chicago, but just in Illinois, their price points are good in Illinois. So I wouldn't be surprised if it's like $16, $18 a 4-pack, but it's probably in the $20 4-pack range, which I would happily pay for this because it's delicious. And availability, I have no idea. This is probably Illinois only. Outside of Kyle reviewing beers, like I've never heard of this brewery. In fact, I'll be honest with you, I never heard of this brewery before Clayton said that he was sending me some. And then I just typed in a Triptych into YouTube to see if there's any reviews, and then I found a couple of Kyle's videos. Like, oh, okay. Hey, he had them sent like years ago, back like 3-4 years, maybe even longer than that. So there's a lot of beers and breweries out there that I've never heard of that people love, and there's so many breweries now in the U.S. and in the world in general. So the fact that I haven't heard about this brewery until recently makes me upset because my first impressions really do hold a lot of water. I'm fucking super excited to have another beer from them to try, and I think it's like a 5.4% pale ale. Yeah, sign me up. So huge thanks to Clayton for this beer. If anybody out there has had this beer, post in the comment section. If you've had anything from Triptych, what do you think about them? Because this is so unique and delicious that I cannot wait to turn off the camera. So instead of just flapping my gums constantly and sitting here and making this review longer than it even ever needs to be, I'm going to shut it down. So thanks, Clayton. Thanks to everybody. To the next one. Cheers.